The hotel suite smelled like serious money, like rich people, expensive whiskey, and that polished leather smell you get in places only the really high-end clients frequent, which is exactly why I was there, why I said yes. I knocked, and this deep voice answered, "Come in." Stepping inside, I smoothed down my dress, slipping into the role, getting my head right. Then I saw him. Glass in hand, legs crossed, eyes locked right onto mine. David, my mother's new fiancé. Whoa, yeah, total shocker. And trust me, it only got crazier from there. Look, nobody forced me into this. No sad backstory, no tragic past. I picked this life. And guess what? I'm damn good at it. That's what my family hated most. They wanted a daughter they could brag about, someone with a respectable job, a house with a white picket fence, the whole boring package. Instead, they got me, a woman who craved excitement, control, power. And this job, it gave me exactly that. Guys paid for a fantasy. I became it. Sometimes I was the mysterious woman they couldn't have. Sometimes I was the girl next door with a wicked secret. I could be whoever they wanted. And I loved every damn second of it. When my family figured out I had zero shame, that I actually enjoyed what I did, they cut me off. Fine by me. Now I just watch their perfect little lives through a screen. Engagement announcements, fake smiles at fancy dinners, captions screaming, "Look at me, I have it all." Meanwhile, I'm living on my own terms. No pretending, no playing nice. Just me, a new city. Right now, a swanky part of Manhattan, and a job where men pay me to be their perfect fantasy. And seriously, I never disappoint. You'd be surprised how predictable this gig can be. The guys change, sure, but the routine? Always the same. Wake up late, brunch at some low-key cafe where no one asks questions. Hit the gym, no. Tea for health, but to stay looking the way they expect. Then a little shopping. 'Cause when guys throw money at you, you spend it, right? Nights are when things get interesting. Silk dress, killer heels, red lips, confidence like a freaking shield. I check my phone, scroll through the inbox. Requests, negotiations, confirmations. Some guys want conversation, some want company, some just need an escape. And me? I give them exactly what they're paying for. I was just about to call it a night when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Almost ignored it. Then I saw the message. 2 VIP clients, high price, private location. Interested? I stared at the screen, my finger hovering over the reply button. VIP meant serious cash, serious guys. And I never said no to that. I typed back. Details? The response was instant. Luxury suite, top floor, midnight. No names, no pointless small talk, just business. And a number that made my pulse quicken. I probably should have hesitated. VIP clients can be unpredictable. Some are arrogant, some are sketchy, some want way more than they're paying for. But that price? No way I was saying no. Slipped into the routine. Warm bath, subtle perfume, flawless makeup. The kind that makes guys weak the second you walk in. In the mirror, I adjusted my dress. Black silk, fit perfectly. It wasn't just about looking good, it was about control, power. If I was gonna let them have me, I had to make them think it was all their idea. Final deep breath. Confidence level. Max. Game face on. I got to the hotel right before midnight. The elevator ride up was smooth, silent. Knocked twice. That voice called out, "Come in." Stepped through the door and bam. Froze. Glass in hand, legs crossed, eyes locked on mine. My mother's new fiancé. David. Took me a second to process it. I'd seen his face before, obviously. Just never in a place like this. His photos were all over my mom's Facebook and Instagram. Smiling at family dinners, holding her hand in engagement pics, looking like the perfect catch. And now he was here. I gripped my purse tighter, my heart hammering against my ribs. Did he recognize me? The other guy? Older, quiet, sipping his whiskey. He watched with mild amusement, like this was just another Tuesday night. But David? He was different. He wasn't surprised, wasn't uncomfortable. He wasn't even pretending. If anything, he looked entertained. He leaned back in his chair, swirling his drink, taking his sweet time looking me over. Finally, he smirked. Huh. That was it. Just that. One word. Amused. Curious. Almost disappointed. He let the silence hang there, watching me squirm a little. He was testing me. Wasn't sure why, but I knew a power move when I saw one. So I straightened my shoulders, forced my body to relax. If he wanted to play games, I could play too. Gave him a slow, knowing smile. Didn't expect to see me here, huh? His lips curved like he was deciding something. Then he set his drink down, rested his elbows on his knees, leaning in just slightly. No, he said, smooth as hell. I expected someone better. Ouch. The words hit sharp, deliberate, a challenge. The older guy chuckled under his breath, but I barely heard him. My focus was locked on David, his eyes watching for my reaction. He wanted to see if I'd break, get flustered. I didn't. Instead, I took a step forward, slipping into my role with zero effort. Tilted my head, dragged a manicured nail down the strap of my dress. Maybe you should wait until after the job to decide. His smirk deepened. Exhaled through his nose, still amused. Well, aren't you professional? I just smiled. Then he reached for me. Slow, deliberate. A test in itself. I didn't pull away. Let him kiss me. The air was thick with something unspoken. Heat, tension. That kind of charged silence that crackles between bodies that know exactly where this is heading. His eyes burned into me, sharp, assessing, waiting for a reaction I refused to give him. I held his gaze, unflinching. If he was testing me, I'd pass. If he was waiting for me to break, he'd be waiting forever. And then he moved. Slow, deliberate. One hand brushing my thigh, fingers trailing up, barely grazing my skin. The other slid to my waist, a firm, confident grip. Not hesitant, not unsure, like he already knew I wasn't going to stop him. I exhaled, long and slow, barely holding back the shiver that wanted to betray me. My pulse pounded beneath my skin, a steady drumbeat that synced with the unrelenting pressure of his hands. His breath ghosted over my jaw, warm, teasing. A silent invitation. I could still walk away. I didn't. His lips met my neck, a slow drag of heat and pressure, and something inside me just snapped. I let my fingers wander up his chest, feeling the tension coiled beneath his skin. Hard lines, steady breath, controlled restraint. I could feel it in the way his muscles tensed under my touch, in that slow exhale against my throat, like he was holding back, like he wanted to see if I'd make the first move. So I did. I reached for his jacket, slid it off his shoulders, let it fall in a careless heap. His shirt was next. My fingers made quick work of the buttons, dragging over firm skin, feeling the heat radiating from his body. He smirked, a low sound rumbling in his chest, impatient. I didn't answer. Instead, I pushed him back just enough to flip the balance of control, just enough to remind him I wasn't some wide-eyed girl caught in the moment. This was what I did. I settled into his lap, feeling the shift in his breath, the way his fingers dug into my hips, not to push me away, but to hold me there, to keep me exactly where he wanted me. From the corner of the room, ice clanked in a glass, a slow sip, a quiet chuckle. The older man hadn't moved, hadn't spoken, just watched. I felt his gaze like an invisible hand tracing over my body, lingering on the way I pressed against David, taking in every slow, deliberate movement. David wasn't oblivious to it. If anything, it just fueled him. His grip tightened, his hands dragging over my body, mapping every curve, every dip, every place he wanted to claim. I let him. Let the tension coil between us, thick and heady, suffocating in the best way. By the time his lips found mine, I had already forgotten why this was wrong. I didn't care. The world shrank to the space between us. Nothing existed beyond the feverish pull of his hands, the heat radiating between us, the raw, unfiltered hunger that neither of us bothered to hide anymore. I let myself get lost in it. The press of his body against mine, the slow, deliberate rhythm, the way he moved like he had all the time in the world to unravel me. There was no rush, no fumbling, only the steady, unrelenting buildup of heat, climbing higher, tightening deep in my stomach, tighter, sharper, seconds away from snapping. Their hands, their movements, the overwhelming, all-consuming sensation of being caught between them. One leading, one testing, both pulling me further into something I wasn't sure I'd come back from. I couldn't stop now. Didn't want to. Faster. Rougher. The last pieces of control slipping through my fingers, replaced by something reckless, something primal, something dangerously close to euphoria. David's grip bruised against my hips. Breath ragged, pace unrelenting, chasing the inevitable. The older man followed. And then everything shattered. A sharp inhale. A desperate gasp. My body tensed, then unraveled, spiraling into a heady, devastating release that stole the breath from my lungs, left me trembling, utterly undone. David cursed under his breath, his movements turning frantic, desperate, losing himself right alongside me. A low groan, a sharp inhale, a final shuddering release, and then silence. Heavy breathing, the lingering echo of what we had just done, hanging thick in the air, impossible to ignore. I stayed there, caught between them, my skin still burning, my body still humming. David leaned back, smirking, his fingers tracing lazy circle, as against my hip. Damn. The older man exhaled, reached for his drink, took a slow, satisfied sip. That, he murmured, voice smooth, amused, was worth every penny. I swallowed hard, my breath still uneven. It was finally over. The room felt different now, colder, heavier, like the weight of what happened had settled into the walls. I slipped back into my dress, smoothing the fabric with steady hands. Ignored the way my skin still buzzed with the memory of their touch. When I glanced up, David was watching me, the same unreadable expression, the same quiet amusement, like he'd won. I could tell my mother, blow this whole thing apart, but I knew better. She wouldn't believe me. Not because she trusted him, but because she didn't trust me, because I was the disappointment, the one who threw away the life she wanted for me. If I told her, she'd convince herself I was lying, jealous, vindictive, trying to ruin her happiness just because I could. And that's exactly why he did it. He knew I had no power here. He knew I would keep this to myself, swallow it down like I did everything else they didn't want to hear. This was never about attraction. It was a lesson, a message, a reminder that I was still just the outsider looking in. I grabbed my purse, my heels clicking against the floor as I made my way to the door. I didn't look back, didn't give him the reaction he was waiting for. I just walked out, my head high, my spine straight, and as I stepped into the empty hallway, I let the secret settle deep inside me, exactly where it would stay.